Hello, everyone. Um, let me
Hello,
drop. Don't forget to add your name to the meeting notes doc. I unfortunately have to leave at 20 after the hour, so in 20 minutes, for another meeting. But we have a relatively short agenda, so I guess we might finish by then. So, Dong, do you know if Peng is going to join?
let me ping him in
Okay.
which hi, Zhao, could you help confirm whether Tao will join this meeting?
Yes, he will, but maybe a few minutes later, I believe he's on his way back.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I can call him.
Oh, it's okay. I mean, it's not, we don't have to have him here, I guess. I'll wait another minute or
Okay.
so for folks to join because there's a few folks that look like they're still coming in. There's Tal.
Sorry to be late. I'm still parking my car out. So I'll mute for a minute, 3 minutes.
No problem. All right. Well, it looks like we've got a good set of folks. Um, the agenda, let me just add it to the chat. That's the agenda document if you want to follow along at home. This is recording. Excellent. Okay. Um, So let's get started. Again, apologies. I have to drop at 20 minutes after, so I'm about 15 minutes. Um, I'll try and take notes until then, and maybe someone else can take over from me if we're not done by then. Okay, first on the agenda is Andrew. We wanted to talk about ModelPack end user experience. He'd started a thread in Slack about it and a doc. I guess maybe just chat through what your thoughts are and what you need from everybody else.
Yep, so been putting a lot of thought on how we go ahead and get a lot of interest in the community. And the first thought I always say for any community is what is that getting started end user experience? So I put together kind of a list of items that I think would be helpful, like a fairly in-depth getting started that kind of goes very much more detail than just the basic, getting started that we have on the model CTL, CLI. And as part of that, it also ties into some of the work around end-to-end testing that we can also do too. So I can kind of see how we can kind of not only kill a couple different birds with one stone and make the project even stronger. So I put together a whole bunch of thoughts in the doc that I have linked in the agenda. Uh, Associated to that are also some usability enhancements for the mod CTL CLI. Right now, the CLI itself is very functional, but not very approachable from an end user perspective. So I put together an issue in the repo, and I'm going to spend some time in the next week, really making the CLI much more approachable from an end user, adding better comments in the CLI commands, what the actual commands mean, et cetera, et cetera. So that's just kind of some of the ideas that I have in mind to really make it so that we can get more contributors and interested parties to adopt the community. And obviously, any thoughts from the team here and the community? Certainly appreciated. So I'm hoping in 2 weeks when we have our next sync, we'll make some progress on that.
Sounds great. Awesome. Thank you, Andrew, for kicking that off. It is, as you said, it's a critical part of every community. Any anybody have any comments, or I guess Andrew, is there anything you need specifically from other folks in the community?
Only thing I'd request is just take a look at the doc, make any comments as necessary.
Awesome. All right. Just make a note.
MTAL and I think the get started your document is very important that you're working on. And I just verified that we can actually push and pull the model image to GitHub repo or to GHIO GitHub registry. So if you need a server to test against, for example, data user to run small demo, etc., you can use that server.
Yeah, because that's kind of what I was looking to do is as part of the getting started experience. I want to make it so we'd have like a set of assets inside our org, and as part of that, we'd be able to kind of almost dog food our own content. So as you go through the mod CTL and understanding how our tooling works, you're actually going in, cloning a repository that we maintain, but then also use that as a way to do end-to-end testing as the CLI continues to progress, as well as other parts of the spec. So that's just kind of one of the things I had in mind. So we'll see how things kind of progress in the next couple of weeks, but obviously appreciate several different folks in the community thus far. I've had some conversations, so looking to see if we can build out more content.
Yeah, that's good. Looks good to me. Thank you.
Yeah, I was muted. All right. Thanks, Andrew. Any other comments or thoughts on that item? Okay. Next topic was the project landing, specifically the community membership definition. There is a link there. Let's see.
Yeah, I put the link there. I was just thinking that we should define some simple community rules, and so we can have a membership vendor. It's a typical CNCF project setup. So we should look at.
Excellent. Thank you for starting this. I haven't looked at it in detail, but the first thing that strikes me, Tao, is there are 5 levels, which seems like maybe a lot to start with.
Yeah, I don't think we need that much. So,
Okay.
yeah, maybe we only need 3 of them: contributor, maintainer, and enemies. What do you think? Because now we have a lot of maintainers, and all of them are actually admins of the organization. That's not a typical thing a project will do.
Yeah, that makes a little bit more sense to me. Anybody else have thoughts on this?
I really agree, and I really agree to have as a few levels as necessary. Also, this is something that would help us for the OpenSSF best practice badge, as we are doing that one as well in Kubeflow. So indeed, is like I think it's a very good suggestion. I agree on the principle, and I agree on having as few levels as necessary. Thank you.
So then I will look into more details and have a proposal PR sent. Maybe I'm not sure. Maybe 2 weeks later, and 1 week later, because I will be on PTO next week. So after that, I will send it.
Okay, excellent. Good, thank you, Tao, as always. Any other comments on that one? All right. The last was the PR 111. There's a link in the document there. Maybe Zhao, and I apologize if I'm messing up your name, which I probably am. But maybe you could explain a little bit about the PR.
Okay. I need 10 minutes to introduce my PR 111. Okay. Let me share my slides. Can you see my slides?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I'm going to introduce PI 111, and this PI adds an optional architecture configuration that describes the detailed structure and the components of a transformer model. But there, of course, there are also still lots of works to do, and I will continue to add more documents to this PR to describe it in more details. And welcome to review it and leave comments. Please feel free to interrupt me at any time if you have questions. Okay, I will start. So the current ModelPack specification can serve as a standard for building, distributing, and managing AI models. And using the specification, we can build the model, we can push the model, and pull the model. However, the specification now lacks the architecture and the runtime configuration to run the model. For example, it lacks the crucial architecture details. For example, it lacks the hyperparameters such as the number of layers, the hidden size dimensions, the number of attention heights, and etc. And second, it lacks the components type definitions. I mean the transformer model components, such as the self-attention and the feed-forward network definition, and etc. And the last, it lacks the model runtime configurations, such as the parallelism configuration, the quantization configuration, and etc. And maybe more. So these problems, this creates a gap between the model image and the runtime. So without the above information or parameters, the runtime cannot execute the model seamlessly. So to address these limitations, we need to define the model architecture configuration as the first step. So how to define it? First, the most of the LLMs, they are transformer architecture. Because the transformer is the most popular architecture for LLMs. It has remained, and also it remained relatively stable since it appears in the paper. Attention is all you need. Basically, it consists of a stack of structured layers, as shown in the picture, where each layer contains a self-attention block and a feed-forward network, and also with normalization and residual connections. And the complete architecture also includes a tokenizer, an input embedding layer, a position embedding part, and an output embedding layer. And this is a complete transformer. And we find that, as shown in this table, the current mainstream open-weight model architectures, they are converging and become more similar and similar. For example, the DeepSeek, the Kimi, and even the latest OpenAI open source model, GPT OSS. because they are similar and they are more and more converging, so it makes it feasible to define a common abstraction. So this PR defines these components and provides them for use by, for example, the inference engine and the runtimes. For example, a self-attention module can be defined as follows. The first is the type field. It specifies the type of attention. For example, the GQA attention, which used in Llama 4. And while the remaining fields, they are the details. They define the detailed parameters for this type of attention. And currently, in this PR, only MHA and GQA type are supported. And but in the future, we will support more attention type like MLA used in DeepSeek R1 model and maybe the NSA and more. And they will be tested and added later. So this is the example, and the possible application scenarios are like this. So, for example, if there is no standard models architecture definition, so each new model needs to be adapted to different inference engines, and each inference engine also has to repeatedly support models. Even they have similar architectures. There are lots of waste of work. But if we have the standard model definition like this PR, both sides only need to support ModelPack and to achieve their goals. So this is why we need this definition. And of course, yes, there are still lots of work to do. First, I need to add more tests for the current definition, and second, I need to make a POC using inference engine like VLM and SGLang to run different models based on this model architecture definition. And third, we need to support multimodal language models. For example, the vision models. And so in the fourth, I need to add more component support like MTP layer and LoRa adapter and etc. And I also need to add the tensor naming standard. And last, I need to not only to support transformer, but we also have to support more architectures like the state space model, for example, the Mamba and the diffusion model. And so yes, there are still lots of works to do, and I will continue to contribute to this PR, and welcome to leave comments, and please have a review. Thank you. Okay, thanks. I will post the URL here.
Thank you. I was just about to ask. Thank you. That's great.
So Zhao, what kind of, because what is you listed 6-7 major steps as the next steps, but what is the minimum that you see that can be accepted into the code base? Like when is the PR complete, or is the current one complete, or when should we kind of look at this and say, hey, you know what, this is a complete implementation, let's put this in, and then plan or start adding the new steps?
Okay. I think the first and the second step is needed for the first PR. What do you think? Can you see my slide? Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Yes.
I agree with those two. I just don't know how confident are you with the multi-model being integrated into this.
How confident?
Like
yes, I have some test before for the multi-model.
okay, so you have a sort of a feel of if this can be achieved as easily with the multi-model as well.
Yes, the multi-model need encoder need a input encoder and output decoder. And
Yep.
I think it's achievable, but I need more time.
Yep. Okay. But you don't think we should actually wait for that before, like, if this is the right approach? Like, do we need to? I guess what I'm coming to is, do we need to verify this with a multi-model solution before we actually say, oh, this is the right approach to continue? I actually like the idea. I'm just asking because multi-model usually, in my case at least, broke a few of my better ideas before. So
Okay, I understand. Yes, multi-model is more complicated. I'm open for it. I mean, both of it is okay for me.
I mean, if I'm okay if you want to just wait for the to verify the multi-model use case and then accept that into the code base. Anyway, it lives in a PR right now, which is okay for me. Like, where do we cut the line? Do we cut the line at 3 or from the top, or do we cut the line for the next steps at 2? I guess that's the question.
Yeah. Yes.
赵晨的 do you have a I mean theoretically, is there any blocker to support multimodal language models in this approach?
No blocker to theoretically block this.
Nothing we can see
we
right
just
now.
Yeah, we just we need more time, or maybe we need a POC for it, but it need more time.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. Like, if it takes additional time and we wait for it and then we verify that it actually works with multi-models as well, and then we merge it afterwards, I'm okay with that. That doesn't mean that we won't do any reviews and play with it in the meanwhile. It just means that we don't merge it before we verify the multi-model. Does that sound okay?
Let me think.
And in my opinion, this approach actually complements the GGOF approach. That the GGOF format also tries to describe the JS4 architecture. It's just that it doesn't have a high-level abstraction there, and the GGOF supports multimodal, right? So in theory, there's no blocker for that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's, again, I'm not saying that the approach is wrong. Essentially, I just want to see if we can verify it, or if you don't think that we need to verify it, I'm okay with completing the first two tasks and then merging afterwards. Like I don't think the approach is wrong or anything like that. It would
Okay.
be, yeah. I'm just saying that when do we do the where do we draw the line for the MVP essentially?
Yeah, I understand MVP. I just think that we want to iterate
Okay.
fast instead of having a huge PR and everything ready and make sure everything works, then merge it. Does
Okay.
that sound okay to you?
Yeah, it does. I'm just questioning where it was essentially. So once the tests and the demo with the VLLM and SGLang is ready, we're ready to merge essentially.
Yeah, because
Okay, I also
we can
agree
do
for
PR
this.
after PR and phase by phase. So in phase
Yeah.
one, we have basic infrastructure and test and demo, and in phase two, then multimodal support, then add
Yeah.
more in future steps.
Yeah, sounds good.
This seems very cool to me, and like it solves a real problem. The question I'm having when thinking about this is it solving the same problem that the ModelPack project has been approaching so far? Like I think your call out to compare this to GGUF was pretty apt. It's sort of like a format for describing everything a lower level inference engine needs in order to run a model. I've been thinking about the goals of the project up until this point more about the packaging and distribution of models. And like this would be one type of thing that you would package and distribute. So I guess the question is, do you see this as being tied to the ModelPack spec or sort of like complementary with it?
I think it's an optional piece, right? If I understand correctly, the PR says it's optional.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, it's option. Yeah, it's optional.
So you could definitely imagine sort of like adopting this without adopting the packaging spec and vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. This is basically describes the model in more details and helps the inference engine how to understand how to run a model. So it has more impact on the runtime part instead of just the packaging part.
I don't think we would enforce this configuration to be present while you're
Yeah.
doing the packaging. This would be like you could actually have your own packaging for your own configuration format and package that with the ModelPack, and then if your runtime understands it, you just solved your problem, right? You don't need to provide this. This is just a one way, or perhaps a more established standard way of defining that, but it's not a must-have. It's an optional piece. That's how I understood it.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
Would we want to
yes.
make it like a separate spec within the project rather than part of the packaging spec?
Yeah, like
It's just necessarily how we describe a model. Actually we do not enforce the inference engine how to use it. So that's why I think it's part of the packaging spec rather than splitting it into a runtime spec. And in future, maybe if we want to enforce how an inference engine should consume some fields of this spec, then we should make a runtime spec. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Thanks.
I have a question, if I may. here. First of all, thank you for the presentation. I think it's also a cool feature, and I understand that this is an option and doesn't enforce. So I think it's a good approach overall. I'm not sure that I understand. Is like this configuration is part. Say that we have a ModelPack and we have this architecture config. How does the different runtime, so to make this available to the different runtimes, we need to have the runtime themselves, like VLLM, be able to read the information from here instead of a configuration file somewhere. And so is the plan to submit PRs to the different runtimes so that they can source that information from somewhere else than a file? Or it's you planning to have some plugin that when the model pack is expanded on the file system, it produces that configuration file for the different runtimes? I was curious, how do you plan to integrate for the different model runtimes, please?
Okay. If I understand your questions correctly, I think there are two parts. The first part is the architecture config, and the second part is runtime.json file. So the architecture config can be used by the inference engine, and the inference engine will have a modeling.py file. It's a modeling file to calculate the model. And the second part, runtime.json, it will be provided in the model's root directory, and the runtime.json will be covered in the future. And in this PR, I only covered the first part. The first part, I think I need to create a PR for SGLang, for VLM, to for them to so we can recognize this architecture and get the model architecture information, and so it can support the model which compatible with the ModelPack specification. I'm not sure if I understand your questions correctly.
No, thank you. This is helpful. I think that when it comes maybe to the demo for the inference runtimes that you mentioned, also it will be clear also to me. But in the meantime, thank you so far for the feedback.
Okay, thank you.
So the runtime.json, right? You said.
Yeah.
Is that a generated file, or is that something that you expect on the model pack?
Similar to the OCI runtime spec. In the OCI runtime spec, it has config.json. I think
I see what you're
the
saying.
config.json is generated from the OCI image spec.
Okay.
So
okay, I see what you're saying. Now I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I have a question. So you mentioned that you will create and submit two PRs to the runtime like SGLang or VRM, right? About this, have you discussed with the maintainer about your thoughts about this?
No, I haven't. First, I need to make sure this is stable enough, and I need more tests I haven't talked to the maintainer of VRM or SGLang.
Okay.
Okay, welcome to leave comments to this PR, and I will continue to contribute to it. I think Brad had.
I was waiting
Yeah.
for Brad. So, yeah, but he has solved.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so it looks like we are at the end of the agenda as well. If there are no other items, all right. Thanks everyone for joining, and see you in 2 weeks and online until then.
Sounds good. Thanks
Thank
all.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks all.
See you
Thank you.
later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good one.